Hi.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful.
Brilliant. You're a speaker at the event. Would you be able to give us a quick overview of kind of what you spoke about? And
It
any top
would be my
takeaways?
pleasure. People make hundreds of decisions a day. What socks am I going to wear? What pair of shoes am I going to put on? What am I going to have for breakfast? And as we go through the day, we are bombarded with literally thousands and thousands of opportunities to make a decision, to choose this over that. In the world of SEO, people use search engines like Google to find things that they're looking for. So one might type in a search for best prices on vintage Rolexes. And it's clearly an intent search, right? I'm looking for a vintage Rolex. It's probably not a bad assumption that I'm looking to buy a vintage Rolex. So we know that, and as an SEO, we can address that. What we don't know is what matters. And what we don't know is something that I've called the intent behind the intent. We know that Bob is looking to buy a vintage Rolex, but we don't know why. Is it for himself as a congratulations because I just became the CEO of my company? Or is it a gift for his daughter who just graduated medical school? Or is it a wedding present for his lifelong best friend who's getting married next week? And it makes all the difference in the world, because as people search through the search returns, in today's world, we're scrolling, we're just going fast, fast, fast. And our mind's eye gets triggered by something called heuristics, which are psychological filters that control how we make decisions. So if I'm really in my heart looking for a wedding present with this Rolex, I'm likely to keep scrolling through the SERP until I see the word wedding or something that's so clear as a gift. And then I'm going to stop on that. But I'm going to stop on that because my brain made me stop before I even realized I was stopping on that. And so if we can understand the psychology of why people make these decisions that they do to search for particular terms, and we can address all of that in the signals on our websites, then we can address every possible permutation of why somebody might want a Rolex. So if my client has a watch store and sells Rolexes, we might create a page on his website for Rolexes as gifts, Rolexes as investments, Rolexes for personal ego, whatever. And we're going to look at the 6 or 10 or 20 most frequent reasons why someone might want to buy a Rolex, and address those in well-formatted content with very, very detailed schema behind the content to give even more information to the search engines so that they can say, it's likely that when this person is searching for prices of vintage Rolexes, let's show him these search returns. And so I think across all the channels of digital marketing, the psychology of why people make decisions and how people make decisions is one of the biggest things in the world.
Couldn't agree with you more, because as I always say in my presentations, people are not rational, they're biased, and they will do what they want without even thinking about it.
There's one more point I'd love to make, and this is very interesting. People don't make decisions proactively. A decision, when you have choices, is literally made by a process of elimination. So I need a new laptop. Why do I need a new laptop? I don't know. I broke my old one. It fell on the sidewalk and got crushed by a car. So I'm going to go maybe to my local computer store even, in real life, not even online. And I'm going to look at a laptop and I'm going to say, that screen is too small. Whoosh, out of contention. And I'm going to look at the next laptop and I'm going to say, well, that's the right size screen, but the keyboard feels a little flimsy. Whoosh, not in consideration anymore. And I'm going to go laptop by laptop, eliminating all those that don't resonate to me. And at the end of that process, I'm going to be left with one or two choices. And we call that the evoked set. And it's like a beauty contest. So at each round, a certain number of contestants are eliminated. And you're down to the finalists. And that's our pool from which we make a decision. So our job as a seller, or our job as an agency for a client who is a seller, is to make sure that their product doesn't get eliminated as opposed to gets chosen. So instead of bragging about your features and benefits, talk about how you compare to the competitors.
Definitely.
And if you can get the configuration of that comparison just right, you can guide the searcher, the customer looking for what you're selling, to eliminate the others, eliminate the others, eliminate the others, so you are the last one standing. And if you're the last one standing, you win. So the process of making a buying decision is not a process of saying yes. It's a process of not saying no.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your tips. And
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
talk.
It was awesome to be here with you, and
Thank you.
congratulations to what you're doing.
Thank you.